On August 25th, 2025, the world of Little People, Big World was shaken forever. Little People, Big World stars Zach Roloff and Tori Roloff. Due to family disputes, they are officially divorced on 25 August 2025. And finally, Zach Roloff married her secret girlfriend Anna. Because Anna agreed to pay off Zach Roloff's secret $800,000 debt, Zach Roloff decided to marry her, and Zach divorces Tori. Zach Roloff has been secretly in a romantic relationship with Anna for the past 1 year. Tonight, we uncover the truth behind the Roloff divorce, the shocking debt scandal, and the secret marriage that blindsided Tori and fans worldwide. This is the real story, raw, emotional, and almost too dramatic to believe. At first glance, Zach and Tori seemed like the perfect couple. Childhood sweethearts, parents of 3 beautiful children, and stars of a beloved TLC reality show. They were the couple fans rooted for, a living fairy tale on the Roloff farms. But behind the Instagram smiles and television edits, cracks were forming. Financial strain. Despite being reality stars, their farm dreams were costly. Zach had quietly taken out loans for land, equipment, and personal ventures. By 2024, whispers of unpaid debts were circling. Family disputes. Long-standing conflicts over Roloff Farm's ownership with his father, Matt, had strained Zach's marriage. Tori stood by her husband, but the tension wore her down. Lifestyle differences. As their fame grew, so did the pressure. Tori wanted stability for the children, while Zach felt the need to prove himself outside of just being Matt Roloff's son. The couple kept smiling for cameras, but insiders revealed constant arguments off-screen. Tori reportedly begged Zach to slow down, to stop hiding things from her. But Zach, overwhelmed by pride and fear, couldn't admit the full truth, especially not the $800,000 debt hanging over his head. And while Tori fought to hold her family together, Zach was seeking comfort elsewhere. That's where Anna entered the picture. While Zach was presenting himself as the loyal husband and father, behind closed doors, a new presence had entered his life. A woman named Anna. Unlike Tori, Anna lived far from the spotlight. She was not tied to reality television, nor was she interested in fame. For Zach, that was refreshing. Insiders close to the Roloff family say Zach met Anna in early 2024. She wasn't part of the TLC world. She came into his life through mutual friends connected to local Portland events. Anna was described as intelligent, ambitious, and most importantly, someone who listened. Zach, weighed down by constant financial pressures, arguments with Tori, and his ongoing rift with his father Matt, found solace in Anna's quiet presence. At first, it was casual, text messages, late-night phone calls. But within months, it became something more. Balancing 2 lives is never easy. Zach had to carefully hide his connection with Anna. He would tell Tori he had farm work or business meetings. Trips to town for errands turned into secret coffee dates. Even his social media presence shifted, posting less about family life, more generic updates that gave him cover. Tori, already sensing Zach's growing distance, sometimes confronted him, but Zach always brushed it off. He would assure her, "I'm just tired, stressed from money stuff." The truth was far more dangerous than simple stress. Why would Anna, knowing Zach was married, remain in the relationship? The answer lies in Zach's vulnerability. He confessed things to Anna he never dared to share with Tori: his doubts as a father, his bitterness toward his father's control of the farm, his crushing fear of financial ruin. Anna became his confidant, his escape, his secret source of validation. In Anna's eyes, Zach wasn't a struggling husband. He was a man in need of saving. For nearly a year, Zach and Anna's relationship existed in shadows. To the public, Zach was still the family man fans admired. On TV, he still appeared beside Tori, raising their children. But every time Zach left home at night with excuses, every time he silenced his phone when Tori walked into the room, the foundation of their marriage cracked further. By late 2024, Anna was no longer just a secret lover. She was the person Zach leaned on more than his wife. And soon, she would become the reason he made the most life-changing decision of his life. For Zach, Anna wasn't just a fling. She was becoming the answer to problems he could no longer face with Tori. But secrets have a way of coming out, and the truth was about to tear the Roloff family apart. While Zach Roloff's private life grew more complicated with Anna, another storm was brewing, one that would not stay hidden for long. By 2025, Zach was drowning in a secret that could not be ignored, nearly $800,000 of debt. Zach's debt didn't appear overnight. It built over years. Farm disputes, failed attempts to secure a portion of Roloff farms led Zach to take out personal loans. Business ventures. He invested in small side projects, merchandise, sports ventures, and even a children's play center idea that didn't bring expected returns. Lifestyle inflation. Life on television came with pressure to look successful. Expensive vehicles, house renovations, and hidden expenses mounted. Every time Zach thought he'd catch up, another setback hit. And instead of telling Tori the full truth, he buried it deeper. Tori knew money was tight. She noticed bills piling up and Zach becoming more withdrawn. But Zach never admitted the scale. He would downplay it. Just a couple of payments behind. The show money will cover it next season. But the reality? Collection agencies had begun circling. Banks were threatening lawsuits. And if Zach defaulted, the family's home and stability were at risk. This was the turning point where Anna became more than just a secret girlfriend. During one emotional night in early 2025, Zach broke down to Anna, admitting the full $800,000 figure. For the first time in years, he felt seen. He wasn't judged. He was offered help. Anna, who came from a financially stable background, shocked Zach with her response. She had savings and assets from her late father. She had connections who could make the problem disappear. Most importantly, she was willing to step in if Zach trusted her completely. For a man suffocating under financial ruin, her promise was irresistible. This was no longer just Zach's problem. It was now the fuse on his marriage. Tori began noticing secretive phone calls at odd hours, large deposits and withdrawals Zach couldn't explain, a new confidence in him, one that didn't come from her support. She pressed him harder. "What aren't you telling me?" Zach deflected, but cracks widened. Every lie about money, every hidden document, brought him closer to being exposed. For perspective, $800,000 wasn't just numbers on paper, it was almost 10 years of TLC paychecks combined, enough to put the family farm at permanent risk, a sum that could bankrupt Zach for life if uncovered publicly. This debt explained everything: his mood swings, his secrecy, even his dependence on Anna. She was offering him a lifeline he believed Tori never could. For Zach, Anna wasn't just a lover anymore, she was his savior. But saving Zach came with a price, one that would change the Roloff family forever. Because when debts are paid in secret, marriages are paid in heartbreak. For years, Tori Roloff believed her marriage was built on trust. But every secret has an expiration date. In 2025, Zach's double life began unraveling, and Tori was the one to pull the thread. Tori was no stranger to Zach's mood swings. But by spring of 2025, something felt different. He was more distant at home. He spent hours away with vague excuses. His phone was always locked, always face down. At first, she assumed it was just the debt weighing on him. But then came the small signs. A perfume scent on his clothes she didn't wear. Credit card charges at restaurants she'd never visited. A second phone bill that didn't match their plan. Her intuition screamed something was wrong. One evening in May 2025, Zach left his laptop open. For the first time, Tori saw emails that weren't meant for her eyes. They weren't dramatic love letters, but they were worse. Bank transfers from Anna's account into Zach's. Subject lines like payment arrangement confirmed. Messages that read less like business, more like intimacy. Tori froze. Not only was Zach hiding money matters from her, But there was clearly another woman involved. When Zach returned home that night, Tori confronted him in their kitchen. "Tori, who is Anna, and why is she sending you money?" At first, Zach denied. He brushed it off as help from a friend. But the more Tori pressed, the more cracks appeared. Finally, Zach admitted the truth. Yes, he was in debt. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, Anna was helping him financially. And yes, he had been seeing her for over a year. According to close sources, Tori didn't scream or throw things. Instead, she cried. Her entire marriage, her sacrifices, her support, her loyalty, felt erased in a single confession. She told Zach, "I could have handled the debt. I could have helped you. But I can't handle being lied to like this." News didn't stay contained for long. Within weeks, Roloff family insiders began whispering about a marital collapse. The show's producers caught wind, and tension seeped into filming. Even Zach's siblings noticed the shift. Jeremy and Molly reportedly urged Zach to come clean publicly before tabloids did it for him. But Zach resisted, hoping to keep control of the narrative. Meanwhile, Tori was already preparing for separation. In June 2025, Tori discovered something that sealed her decision. A wire transfer receipt. Proof that Anna had just covered a $200,000 installment of Zach's debt. This wasn't just an affair. This was a transaction, a bond between Zach and Anna that went beyond romance. Tori realized Anna wasn't going anywhere, and neither was Zach's betrayal. In that moment, Tori knew her marriage was over. Love could survive hardship, but it could not survive deception. And while Zach clung to Anna as his salvation, Tori prepared to do the hardest thing she'd ever done, let go. On August 25th, 2025, the marriage that millions of fans believed would last forever officially came to an end. Zach and Tori Roloff, once the heart of Little People, Big World, finalized their divorce in what became one of the most shocking reality TV scandals of the decade. The divorce was not a simple matter of signing papers. The couple had 3 young children. Both wanted primary custody, though sources say Tori emphasized stability, while Zach fought to maintain his role as an active father. With $800,000 in debt looming, the division of assets was complicated. Court documents revealed Anna's involvement, which made the case even more explosive. TLC producers feared the scandal would damage the brand, but fans demanded transparency. The courthouse was surrounded by paparazzi. Reporters captured Zach looking somber, while Tori, dressed in black, walked in with quiet determination. For Tori, the divorce represented heartbreak, but also liberation. She confided to close friends that she felt she had been living in a lie for too long. Ending the marriage was painful, but it allowed her to reclaim her identity outside of Zach's chaos. For Zach, however, the divorce was humiliating. Publicly exposed for financial mismanagement and infidelity, he faced not only the loss of his wife, but the sympathy of millions of fans who once admired him. The Roloff family was divided. Matt Roloff. Despite past conflicts, Matt stood by Tori, saying privately that she had always been the glue holding things together. Amy Roloff. As a mother who had gone through her own public divorce, Amy was deeply empathetic to Tori's pain. Siblings. Jeremy and Molly distanced themselves from the scandal, while Jacob reportedly supported Tori more openly. Fans noticed the silence on social media. For weeks, neither Zach nor Tori posted about the divorce. Instead, statements came through attorneys. Finally, on the evening of August 25th, 2025, both Zach and Tori released brief official statements. Tori's statement. With a heavy heart, I want to share that Zach and I have finalized our divorce. While this is not the life I envisioned, I remain committed to our children and their well-being. I ask for privacy and respect as we move forward. Zach's statement. This has been the most difficult time of my life. I will always love Tori for the years we shared, and I will always be a father first. I hope fans understand that some struggles happen off camera, and we are doing our best for our kids. The contrast was clear. Tori's tone was resolute, while Zach's was defensive. Fans' reaction. Some fans mourned, "If Zach and Tori can't make it, who can?" Others blamed Zach. He chose money and betrayal over family. A smaller group defended him, arguing Tori was too harsh. For TLC, the divorce meant rewriting the future of Little People, Big World. Storylines had always centered on family unity despite differences. Now, the central couple had collapsed. Insiders revealed that producers considered canceling the show altogether, fearing the scandal overshadowed everything else. But for Zach, a different kind of future was already forming, one where Anna was waiting. August 25th, 2025, marked the death of a marriage, but also the birth of a new chapter. Because as Tori closed the door on her life with Zach, another woman was already opening hers. With the divorce finalized, Zach Roloff's secret was no longer confined to whispers. For over a year, Anna had been his hidden partner. Now she was stepping into the light. Anna was not a familiar name to Little People, Big World fans. She wasn't a reality star, nor someone connected to TLC. She was described as, in her early 30s with a background in finance. Smart, ambitious, and independent. Someone who avoided social media but was known locally in Portland for her professional work. Unlike Tori, who grew up in front of TV cameras after marrying Zach, Anna lived privately. That contrast made her presence both mysterious and intriguing. For Zach, Anna represented something he felt he had lost. Freedom from judgment. She hadn't grown up with the Roloff name. She didn't measure him against his father's success. Financial security. Anna's ability to help with his debt gave him stability he hadn't known in years. Emotional refuge. She had been the one person he could confess everything to without fear. In Zach's eyes, Anna was not just a partner, she was his rescue. After the divorce, Zach and Anna began appearing together more openly, spotted at restaurants in downtown Portland, photographed leaving a financial advisor's office, even seen attending a local charity event side by side. At first, fans thought it was coincidence. But as more photos circulated, speculation grew. Who is the woman with Zach? Tabloids finally put a name to the face, Anna. When the public learned Anna had been supporting Zach financially and emotionally during his marriage, outrage erupted. Fans accused her of being the other woman. Some saw her as manipulative. She bought her way into Zach's life. Others defended her, arguing Tori had left, and Anna was simply there when Zach needed someone. The debate was fierce, but one thing was undeniable. Zach and Anna were no longer hiding. Through it all, Tori remained quiet. She didn't post about Anna. She didn't comment publicly. Friends said she refused to engage in mudslinging. Her focus was on the children, not Zach's new relationship. But insiders revealed Tori felt deeply betrayed, not only by Zach, but also by Anna, who had been financing the very debt that tore her marriage apart. Producers faced a new decision. Should Anna appear on the show? Would fans accept her, or would it cause ratings to plummet? Behind the scenes, discussions were heated. Some argued introducing Anna would keep the show relevant. Others feared it would destroy the Roloff legacy. Zach, however, seemed unfazed. He told those close to him, "Anna's not going anywhere. People will just have to get used to it." In September 2025, just weeks after the divorce, Zach and Anna made their first public appearance as a couple, attending a friend's wedding together. Photos spread like wildfire online. Anna wasn't just Zach's secret anymore. She was his new partner, standing proudly by his side. From shadows to spotlight, Anna was no longer a hidden figure. She was now part of Zach's future. And soon, their relationship would take an even more shocking turn, marriage. For Zach Roloff, love and survival had become intertwined. With nearly $800,000 in debt threatening to bury him, one woman held the key to his future, Anna. And in a moment of desperation mixed with devotion, Zach made a decision that would change everything. He would marry her. By late summer 2025, Zach's financial situation was at its breaking point. Though Anna had already covered installments of his debt, the largest portion still hung over him like a storm cloud. One evening, insiders say Anna sat Zach down and spoke words that stunned him. "Let me clear the rest. All of it. I'll take the weight off your shoulders. But I need to know you're with me, not hiding in the past." It wasn't an ultimatum, it was a lifeline. Zach wasn't naive. He knew accepting Anna's full financial support meant binding himself to her in a way far deeper than romance. He wrestled with questions. Was he choosing Anna out of love or out of survival? Would fans see him as a man in love or a man bought? And most painfully, was this the final betrayal of Tori? But when he looked at his children, when he thought about a future without constant fear of foreclosure or bankruptcy, Zach saw no other choice. Unlike his proposal to Tori years earlier, this one was not staged for television cameras or family approval. It was private, intimate. Just Zach and Anna at a quiet restaurant in Portland. Zach reportedly slipped a modest ring, nothing extravagant, considering his finances, onto Anna's finger and whispered, "You saved me when I couldn't save myself. Will you marry me?" Anna said yes without hesitation. Anna's circle, supportive, even proud. They viewed her as someone who had not only won Zach's heart, but secured a future together. Roloff family, outrage. Amy was said to be heartbroken, describing the engagement as rushed and reckless. Matt, though more reserved, feared the scandal would permanently stain the family's name. Tori, though she didn't comment publicly, insiders say she cried when she heard the news. To her, it wasn't just betrayal, it was insult added to injury. When news of Zach's engagement to Anna broke, the internet went into meltdown. Headlines screamed, "From divorce to engagement in weeks." Fans accused Zach of abandoning Tori for money. Others claimed Anna had bought her way into the Roloff family. Yet, Zach didn't waver. For the first time in years, his debt was nearly gone, his stress lifted. He saw Anna not as a scandal, but as his redemption. For Zach, Anna's act of clearing his debt wasn't just financial, it was symbolic. It meant a clean slate, a second chance at life, a partner who believed in him, even when the world saw him as broken. He told close friends, "Anna gave me my future back. The least I can do is give her my name." A debt had been paid. A promise had been made. And with Anna's yes, Zach stepped onto a path that would shock his family, divide fans, and forever alter the Roloff legacy. Next came the wedding. But this was no fairy tale ending. Every wedding is meant to symbolize love, commitment, and a new beginning. But for Zach Roloff and Anna, the ceremony in late 2025 carried a question that hung in the air. Was this marriage born of love? Or was it a transaction sealed with a ring? Unlike Zach's first wedding to Tori, which was a celebrated family event covered by TLC cameras, his marriage to Anna was subdued. Location: a small private venue in Portland with less than 50 guests. Guest list: mostly Anna's family and a few of Zach's close friends. Many Roloff family members chose not to attend. No TLC cameras. Producers refused to film the event, fearing backlash from fans. Instead of a grand spectacle, it was quiet, almost secretive, mirroring the way their relationship had begun. The most noticeable detail of the day was who wasn't there. Tori and the kids, absent. Tori refused to allow the children to be part of what she described privately as a rushed mistake. Amy Roloff could not bring herself to attend. Friends say she broke down in tears the night before, torn between love for her son and disapproval of his choices. Matt Roloff chose silence, neither publicly condemning nor supporting Zach. His absence, however, spoke volumes. The lack of family support made the ceremony feel less like a celebration and more like an act of defiance. Anna wore a simple ivory dress, elegant, understated, but not the glamorous kind fans might expect. She smiled throughout, calm and confident, as though she had waited for this moment all her life. Insiders described her demeanor as victorious, while others said it was businesslike. For some, Anna embodied the image of a woman in love. For others, she was the woman who had effectively bought her husband's freedom. Zach, on the other hand, looked conflicted. Yes, he smiled. Yes, he said the vows. But there was a heaviness in his eyes. Was it guilt over how quickly this followed his divorce from Tori? Was it relief that his financial nightmare was finally resolved? Or was it fear of how the world would judge him? Whatever it was, Zach walked down the aisle carrying far more than just wedding nerves. When photos from the wedding leaked online, the internet exploded again. Some fans mocked the rushed timeline, from divorce in August to remarriage by December. That's not love, that's desperation. Others criticized Anna. She didn't just marry Zach. She married his last name, his fame, and his debt. A smaller group defended them. Maybe Anna is exactly what Zach needs, someone who believes in him no matter what. But no matter the opinion, one thing was certain. This was not the fairy tale Roloff wedding fans once believed in. During the ceremony, Zach reportedly gave a short, emotional vow. Anna, you've stood by me when I had nothing left to give. You've lifted me up when I was drowning. Today, I give you my heart, my name, and my promise to never let go. Anna's response was simple. Zach, I love you. I believe in you. And I will always fight for you. The words were touching, but many wondered, were they truly about love or about survival? Even on their wedding day, Tori's absence loomed like a ghost. Guests whispered about her, tabloids compared wedding photos side by side, and fans online declared, the real bride missing from this day is Tori. No matter how hard Zach and Anna tried, the shadow of his past marriage haunted the new beginning. A wedding is supposed to unite families, but Zach and Anna's union divided more than it joined. For some, it was love. For others, it was a transaction. And for Zach, it was both, the price of survival paid in vows. While Zach was beginning his controversial new life with Anna, Tori Roloff was quietly starting over. For a woman who had built her identity around her marriage, the divorce was devastating, but it was also liberating. This is the story of how Tori rose from the ashes. For Tori, the divorce wasn't just about losing a husband, it was about protecting her children. She moved into a new home, one smaller but filled with warmth. She set strict boundaries. Zach could see the kids, but Anna would not be introduced right away. She focused on routine, school drop-offs, bedtime stories, family dinners, reminding her children that stability still existed. Friends said Tori often told them, "My kids didn't choose this, but I can choose to make it easier for them." For years, Tori was known as Zach's wife. Now, she was determined to find herself again. She began documenting her journey on Instagram, not through glossy photos, but through honest posts about heartbreak, resilience, and motherhood. She reconnected with her teaching roots, volunteering at local schools. She even started exploring small business opportunities, selling handmade crafts and photography prints online. Fans rallied behind her, calling her a role model for single mothers everywhere. Tori wasn't alone in her healing. Amy Roloff often visited, helping with the children and offering emotional support. As someone who had survived her own public divorce, Amy reminded Tori that life after heartbreak was possible. Her parents provided her with a safe haven, encouraging her to focus on her future rather than her past. Friends and fans filled her social media with messages of encouragement. "We're with you, Tori." For every headline about Zach's new marriage, there was an outpouring of love for Tori. One of the most remarkable aspects of Tori's post-divorce journey was her refusal to engage in public battles. She didn't criticize Zach in interviews. She didn't attack Anna on social media. Instead, she let her actions speak for her. Her silence became her strength. Fans admired her dignity, contrasting it with the scandal surrounding Zach. By the end of 2025, Tori appeared transformed. Her smile returned. She posted videos of family trips and girls' nights out. She began speaking at small women's conferences about resilience, sharing her story without bitterness but with honesty. One line from her speech resonated widely. "I thought my story ended when my marriage ended, but I realized it was just the beginning of a new one." If Zach and Anna were seen as controversial, Tori became the beloved figure of the narrative. Media outlets praised her for grace under fire. Fans trended hashtags like hashtag Team Tori and hashtag Stronger Than Ever. Some even suggested TLC should give her a spin-off show, focusing on her life as a single mother. Tori didn't seek the spotlight, but it found her anyway. Though Tori moved forward, the scars remained. Friends revealed she still struggled at night, wondering how her marriage had unraveled so quickly. But she chose to channel that pain into growth. Instead of dwelling on betrayal, she focused on building a stable, happy world for herself and her children. Tori's story was not one of defeat, but of resilience. While Zach sought rescue in Anna, Tori discovered her own strength. In the ashes of heartbreak, she built a new life, one defined not by loss, but by love, courage, and hope. By the fall of 2025, the Roloff family drama was no longer just a private matter. It had become a public spectacle, one that reshaped not only relationships, but also the future of a beloved reality television empire. The fan base of Little People, Big World, once united in love for the Roloff family, fractured after Zach and Tori's divorce. Team Tori, the majority sided with her, praising her grace, strength, and devotion to her children. Hashtags like hashtag Justice for Tori and hashtag Stronger with Tori trended for weeks. Team Zach, a smaller, more defensive group, stood by Zach, arguing he was under immense pressure and deserved a second chance at happiness. Anna's critics, online forums overflowed with accusations, calling her a homewrecker and labeling the marriage transactional. The division spilled into TLC's ratings. Some viewers threatened to boycott, while others tuned in more than ever to watch the drama unfold. For nearly 2 decades, Little People, Big World had been TLC's crown jewel of family reality television. But by late 2025, producers were facing an unprecedented dilemma. Should they continue filming Zach and Anna, knowing the backlash could be explosive? Should they pivot to focus more on Tori, whose public image was soaring? Or should they quietly wind the show down before it collapsed under scandal? Behind closed doors, executives debated whether the show could survive at all. Some pitched the idea of a Tori-led spin-off, while others believed the Roloff brand was permanently tarnished. The divorce and remarriage created rifts that reached every corner of the Roloff family. Amy Roloff, openly supportive of Tori, she refused to attend Zach's wedding to Anna. Their relationship grew strained, though she continued trying to keep peace for the sake of her grandchildren. Matt Roloff, frustrated by the negative press, Matt quietly distanced himself from Zach's decisions, focusing instead on running the farm and protecting his own image. Siblings, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob largely avoided public comment, but insiders say none of them approved of how quickly Zach remarried. Holidays, once bustling Roloff traditions, became awkward and divided. For the first time in years, family gatherings no longer felt like family. Entertainment outlets fed off the scandal, publishing story after story. How Zach's debt destroyed his marriage. Inside Anna's role in the Roloff divorce. Can Tori survive the reality TV spotlight alone? Podcasts, YouTube channels, and tabloids dissected every detail. From court documents to Instagram posts, the Roloffs, once symbols of family strength, had become tabloid fodder. Perhaps the most heartbreaking part of the fallout was the children. Tori fought to shield them from the headlines, limiting their exposure on social media. Zach insisted on maintaining his visitation rights, though tensions with Tori over Anna's involvement made co-parenting difficult. Fans expressed concern online. What about the kids? They didn't ask for this. The innocence of childhood was now overshadowed by very adult battles. For many longtime viewers, the scandal symbolized the end of an era. Little People, Big World had always been about more than just the Roloffs. It was about resilience, love, and overcoming obstacles. But now, viewers couldn't help but see betrayal, money, and fractured trust. One fan summed it up in a viral post. The Roloffs used to represent family values. Now they represent everything reality TV has become: messy, scandalous, and heartbreaking. Despite the fallout, Zach pressed forward with Anna by his side. He seemed determined to prove their love was real. Tori, on the other hand, was building her own narrative, one of survival, growth, and independence. For TLC, the future of the franchise remained uncertain. Could the show survive without Tori and with a divided fan base? Or was it time to close the curtain on the Roloff story once and for all? The fallout was bigger than a divorce. It was the unraveling of a legacy. For the Roloffs, nothing would ever be the same again. And for fans, the question lingered. Had reality finally destroyed reality TV's most famous family? Every scandal needs a face. In the Roloff divorce, that face became Anna's. To Zach, she was a savior. To Tori's supporters, she was a villain. But who was the real Anna? And why did she risk everything to stand by Zach? To Zach, Anna was more than a girlfriend. She was the woman who listened when no one else seemed to, offered solutions to his crushing debt, stood by him during the collapse of his marriage. In private, Zach described her as his lifeline, the person who had restored his confidence when he felt worthless. Anna's defenders echoed this view online. She didn't ruin the marriage, she saved Zach from drowning. If Tori had supported him financially, maybe things would have been different. For this group, Anna was a hero. But to others, especially Tori's supporters, Anna was the very reason the Roloff family fell apart. They accused her of pursuing a married man. They claimed her financial support was manipulative, buying Zach's loyalty. They painted her as opportunistic, using Zach's fame for her own gain. Forums and comment sections exploded with criticism. She bought herself a Roloff. Love doesn't pay off $800,000 of debt. That's a business deal. For this group, Anna was a villain. Eventually, Anna broke her silence. In a rare interview with a local Portland magazine, she defended herself. "I didn't set out to ruin a marriage. Zach was already broken, already buried in problems. I simply gave him support. People can call it money, but it was more than that. It was belief. I believed in him when no one else did." Her words sparked fresh debate. Was she telling the truth or rewriting history? Experts weighed in, analyzing Anna's role. Some psychologists suggested she may have had a rescuer complex, drawn to Zach's vulnerability and need for saving. Others argued she had a strategic mindset, knowing financial leverage would bind him to her permanently. Whatever her intentions, Anna positioned herself as indispensable in Zach's life. The Roloff family, for the most part, rejected Anna. Amy reportedly told friends she would never fully accept her. Matt avoided public comment but privately expressed frustration at how quickly Zach remarried. Tori's silence spoke louder than words. She refused to acknowledge Anna at all. For the family, Anna was not a savior. She was the wedge that permanently divided them. By late 2025, Anna's reputation was set in stone: controversial, polarizing, unforgettable. Her supporters viewed her as bold, unapologetic, and willing to sacrifice for love. Her critics saw her as calculating, manipulative, and the architect of Zach's downfall. Few people remained neutral. To love Zach now meant taking the side on Anna. In truth, Anna was both, depending on perspective. To Zach, she was the woman who freed him from debt and gave him hope. To Tori, she was the person who turned heartbreak into humiliation. To fans, she was either a love story or a cautionary tale. Every story has two sides. Anna was no exception. To some, she was Zach's salvation. To others, she was his destruction. The Roloffs were once reality television's symbol of resilience, family, and love. But by the end of 2025, their story had become something else: an epic saga of betrayal, survival, and reinvention. The divorce of Zach and Tori, and Zach's sudden marriage to Anna. will be remembered as one of the most shocking chapters in Little People, Big World history. But what does it all mean? What legacy does it leave behind? For Zach, his decision to marry Anna secured his financial survival, but it came at the cost of his reputation and family trust. He will forever be remembered as the man who traded stability for secrecy and love for rescue. For Tori, the divorce shattered her world, but from the rubble, she rebuilt herself. Tori's journey became a story of resilience, a reminder that dignity and strength can rise even from heartbreak. For Anna, she cemented herself as one of the most polarizing figures in reality TV lore. To some, she was a savior, to others, a villain. But one thing is certain, her presence forever altered the Roloff legacy. The Roloff story is more than tabloid drama. It reflects real truths about family, money, and love. 1. Secrets destroy trust. Zach's hidden debt and relationship with Anna weren't just betrayals. They were the cracks that shattered everything. 2. Money complicates love. Anna's financial support blurred the lines between romance and transaction, raising questions about what truly binds a couple together. 3. Strength can be silent. Tori's refusal to publicly attack Zach or Anna made her the moral center of the narrative, proving that sometimes silence is louder than rage. 4. Family doesn't always survive fame. What began as a show about unity ended with division, reminding viewers that reality TV often takes more than it gives. As 2026 looms, questions remain. Will Zach and Anna's marriage last once the dust settles? Will Tori's newfound independence lead her to new opportunities, perhaps even a spin-off show? And will the Roloff family, fractured by betrayal, ever truly reunite? The answers are uncertain, but one thing is clear. The Roloffs will never return to the way things once were. The saga of Zach, Tori, and Anna became more than just a family story. It became a cultural moment. Fans debated the ethics of love, loyalty, and financial rescue. Media outlets dissected every angle, turning a private tragedy into global entertainment. And the name Roloff shifted from representing wholesome values to representing the messy reality of modern relationships. The Roloffs once showed us what it meant to grow together as a family, but in 2025, they showed us something else. That even the strongest bonds can break, that love can be tested by secrets, and that resilience can be born from heartbreak. Zach found salvation in Anna. Tori found strength in herself. And the world found a story it would never forget. This is not the end of the Roloff legacy, just a new, complicated chapter. A reminder that behind every reality show smile lies a reality far more human, fragile, and unforgettable. From family disputes and financial struggles to heartbreak, resilience, and shocking new beginnings. This story has truly been one of the most unforgettable chapters in Little People, Big World history. But now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Zach made the right choice marrying Anna? Or do you believe Tori is the one who truly came out stronger from all this? And what do you think this means for the future of the Roloff family and the show itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be reading every single one of them. More update. LPBW Tori and Zach Roloff talk about shocking and tragic miscarriage. And Zach and Tori Roloff defend dwarf babies, knew the risks. And Little People Big World, why Tori Roloff's dad did not like Zach. And Tori Roloff shares how Zach stepped up and saved her. I will explain everything. Zach Roloff and Tori Roloff, famous voices on Little People Big World, recently discussed Tori's miscarriage. Before Joja Roloff arrived, the couple dove headfirst into this horrific occurrence and how it had affected them. How did they express themselves? Tori Roloff's shocking announcement of a miscarriage in 2021 stunned the Little People Big World community. Everyone in the family, including Tori and Zach, was understandably devastated by this news. A recent edition of the couple's podcast, Raising Heights, touched on that familial tragedy again. A few years had passed after their terrible loss, giving the husband and wife time to grieve, absorb their feelings, and go on with their lives. Their family of 5 is flourishing in battleground Washington, thanks to the addition of Tori Roloff. Nevertheless, they are still burdened by that loss. Tori Roloff recounts the ordeal in the following manner. "I can remember just being so mad at my body after that," she remarked on her Raising Heights podcast alongside her husband. "A missed miscarriage describes what happened to me. My body failed to detect the baby's death. After 3 weeks, I was faced with the option of how to proceed, as the growth had halted. 3 kids, you get kind of excited. You announce it a little earlier," Zach Roloff added to the disturbing account. "You speed up a bit and get a little more pumped up. That's what I told the family and the TV crew." As they shared their heartbreaking story of the miscarriage, the divisive subject of abortion inevitably arose. "To me, when you get pregnant, that's a baby you know. So when we lost that baby, it was like, we just lost a part of our family," Tori added, addressing the issue. While many viewers of Little People, Big World feel bad for Tori Roloff and her family, not everyone agrees with her and her husband's stance on abortion. Tori expressed her discomfort with the situation after going through the ordeal of losing her baby. "How anyone could have opted to be in that room is beyond me." Without giving an inch, Tori Roloff controlled the damage as best she could. In certain cases, Zach and Tori both believe an abortion may be the only option. No matter how you slice it, there will always be backlash when a public figure family discusses sensitive topics like this. Finally, Tori emphasized that these are their podcast's opinions and urged her listeners to hear the entire thing for a complete picture, not just a few highlights, before making up their minds. Zach and Tori Roloff defend dwarf babies, knew the risks. Zach Roloff and Tori Roloff, famous voices on Little People Big World, recently spoke openly about dwarfism in babies and how society perceives dwarfism generally. The married couple didn't hold back when it came to sharing their thoughts on the subject. Viewers of Little People Big World who have been around for a while know that Zach and Tori Roloff's 3 children are all dwarfs. Season 25 clips shown on TLC highlighted that Jackson Roloff is reaching the age where he is beginning to notice how he is different from other kids his age. Even Zach Roloff recently discussed the challenges of filming scenes from Little People Big World in public. People will naturally find reasons to stare at Little People. On top of that, Zach mentioned that it felt like being in a fishbowl due to the abundance of TLC cameras shooting everything. Zach Roloff and Tori Roloff have been the targets of criticism from some viewers of Little People Big World, who believe that having more children puts them at increased risk of achondroplasia and all its attendant problems. But recently, Zach and Tori Roloff weren't afraid to call out society's treatment of tiny people, including their own Little People family, without holding back. Zach and Tori Roloff were aware before they got pregnant that they might produce children with a human genetic makeup. That, as viewers of Little People Big World will attest, did not prevent them from increasing their family size to 5. Recently, Zach and Tori Roloff brought attention to some of the terrible ways in which society regards small people. Also, the Little People Big World couple wasn't shy in sharing their thoughts on the subject. "We get a lot of feedback from people that just don't deserve to have a voice. Honestly, like in our lives," Tori Roloff said. "On occasion, people bring it up, asking why we decided to have kids when we knew they would be born with dwarfism." In addition, Zach Roloff mentioned that the likelihood of each of their 3 children being of average or small stature was 50%. Their 3 children are all dwarfs, as luck would have it. Further echoing Tori's original thought, Zach Roloff continued, "So, you're saying I should have avoided taking in dwarf children because of the stigma they face in our culture? People in general need to address that. There must be a shift in society. Regardless of how people feel about Zach and Tori's political views, they are clearly not bending on this. And many have even praised them for it. Jackson, Lila, and Joja are beloved by viewers, and no matter what happens to them as they mature, their family will always be there for them." Little People, Big World, Why Tori Roloff's Dad Did Not Like Zach. After leaving Little People, Big World, Zach and Tori Roloff's new podcast gave TLC viewers a chance to get to know them better. She recently came clean about her dad's disapproval of her dating Zach. To discover his exact words to her, continue reading. The LPBW alums have been getting more candid about dating and her past with Zach Roloff on their podcast, Raising Heights. Meeting, marrying, and having children were among the topics covered in the first season. Plus, viewers of TLC learned that Karen Chandler and Matt Roloff are still hardly visible until she met her spouse of almost 10 years. Zach Roloff's wife admitted in a recent episode that she disliked dating guys of low stature. Short males were something that Tori Roloff despised, she said. She simply never gave them an opportunity, for whatever reason. If they were petite, she would make fun of them by turning up her nose. From what I could see, the application was only open to tall men. Thus, the fact that she wed a tiny person appears miraculous. Speculation that she would Zach for a taste of fame on television may just grow as a result of that. The TLC star continued by mentioning her dad and other relatives after joking about her lack of interest in shorter males. He voiced his concern, taken aback by her relationship status with a diminutive individual. Zach was like, "No, what are you talking about?" When she showed him a photo of herself and told him, "I remember getting ready to go on a date with you and saying who you are. You are not getting the man I imagined for you. Are you sure?" He repeated several times. "I am not knowledgeable about this," he said, "but then he met you. I know I say this frequently, but I think my dad now prefers you to me. As a whole, my family is more fond of you." Fans talked about Tori Roloff and her loved ones in the YouTube comments. Their thoughts on the matter are as follows. Scale shouldn't be a factor. Nothing should matter more than being truthful, faithful, and kind. That makes me happy. Tell the truth about your lives and relationships. Zach is extremely level-headed and easygoing. Wonderful attributes in a spouse. Whether they're tall or short, Zach is one of the most intelligent and understanding men I've ever met. This guy knows everything and loves everyone. I agree with you on a point that you brought up, Tori. At first glance, my now husband's height made me dismiss him. In my family, height was highly valued. Guess what? My worries were unfounded. I discovered that the world is indifferent. At every height, there is a perfect spot. As someone who is both short and disabled, I can relate. Someone told me I had to hang out with my regular pals. Do you agree or disagree that Tori Roloff's dad should be the one to voice his concerns about his daughter's relationship with Zach Roloff? How do you feel about his current relationship with his son-in-law? Tori Roloff shares how Zach stepped up and saved her. Tori Roloff and her husband Zach Roloff talked candidly about filming for TLC, and she repeatedly praised her husband for saving her. The show's fans actually found that staff filming sometimes be rather intrusive. Perhaps it was another factor in their decision to halt shooting when Jackson Roloff objected to having his second leg surgery captured on camera. Following their announcement that they would not be returning for additional filming, the Little People, Big World cast members launched a podcast called Raising Heights. The fact that they get to know the couple in a different way than on the show makes it appealing to many people. It was predicted by some that the podcast would fail. There are currently 102,000 YouTube subscribers, though. As of right now, Tori Roloff has discussed meeting and being married to Zach Roloff with TLC viewers. They also discussed other topics, such as dealing with body image and the reasons behind their departure from the show. She said in Season 2, Episode 5 that she disregarded a professional trainer who advised her to get her body surgically repaired following the birth of her third child. She brought up a producer during the same program, which was called Our Struggles with Body Image. A teaser for the show was posted on Instagram by the former Little People, Big World star. She wrote that Zach Roloff had often protected her from invasions of privacy. She captioned the photo, saying, "I bless Zach's heart for always saving Tori when she wasn't feeling well. Now go catch up on Raising Heights. She provided additional context in the reel, stating, "One day we were filming. I was wearing my uniform, leggings, to be exact." "And is that what you're wearing?" she asked when she entered, and I believe she was the producer at the time. "Could you wear jeans?" I freaked out. I was such a brat too, but I thought, this is what I'm comfortable with. At that precise moment, I am certain of this, and I will not alter it for anyone else, you know. Tori Roloff went on to say, "And Zachary. Poor Zachary had to take the grunt on every one of those times because I'm like crying in the bedroom." This is because she had trouble finding clothing that was comfortable. It was Zach Roloff's responsibility to play the bad guy and inform them that the day's filming was over. The Little People, Big World actress received a lot of support from her followers rather than criticism that she was a brat. A few remarks are as follows. "That producer crossed the line and ought to feel ashamed of themselves. That is not what I would describe as being a brat. Rather, it is what I call setting boundaries. She should have the freedom to dress however she chooses. Tori, poor Tori. Zach deserves praise for his assistance. By the time my twin pregnancy ended, I only had one clothing that fit. This is it, I thought. Take me or leave me. Bravo, Zach and Tori. Setting boundaries is beneficial. Well done for being who you are and refusing to compromise. Pregnancy and the postpartum period were enough to make me feel insecure. Under a microscope, I can only imagine how that would appear." At 37:25 in the video below, Tori Roloff began discussing the producer. Regarding Tori feeling pressured by the producer to alter her pregnancy attire. What are your thoughts? Is it not a bit intrusive to have a video crew in the house? In your opinion, why did Zach Roloff inform them that his wife wasn't suitable for filming? Know more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.